Jai Gurudev. So Queen Victoria was aware that a royal image must be supported. Yes, it must be supported by moral integrity. How do spiritual practices cultivate inner alignment with the outer image? His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji says, "What you are is far more important than what you appear to be." Through practices like Sudarshan Kriya and Padma Sadhana, one cleanses emotional and mental layers, aligning intention with action. Queen Victoria's image as a moral monarch was credible because she upheld her personal values. Regular meditation helps leaders lead from authenticity, not image management. Sandhya Vandanam requires one to self reflect thrice daily. It anchors behavior in dharma. Upanayam instills truthfulness from youth. The outer projection of royalty must stem from inner sanctity, and Vedic rituals remind one that the universe watches silently. Victoria's strong values reflected this deeper integrity. Victoria often sought religious and philosophical counsel. How does Vedic tradition support rulers with spiritual advisors and wisdom? Gurudev emphasizes that advisors grounded in wisdom are essential for any leader. Leaders need mirrors that reflect the truth, not flatterers. Victoria's interactions with clergymen and philosophers shaped her moral compass. Satsangs with enlightened masters, as encouraged in Art of Living, provide this light. A spiritually guided leader is both visionary and compassionate. In ancient India, kings had Rajgurus who offered not just counsel but spiritual strength. Agni Karyam performed in royal courts kept Dharma alive. Sanyam Sadhana of level 1 and level 2 programs offer today's leaders the same depth. Victoria's reliance on moral voices echoes the age old Vedic model of king and sage partnership. How can leaders balance progress with ethics as Victoria had to in the industrial era? Gurudev says that progress without wisdom is dangerous. Spiritual practices help leaders access intuition and moral clarity. Victoria had to decide how much to embrace industry while safeguarding the poor. Sehat Samadhi builds an inner compass to make such nuanced decisions. Innovation must serve humanity, not greed. In Vedic times, every innovation from medicine to metallurgy was offered to the divine first. Agni Karyam and Trikal Sandhya purify one's intention before taking action. This guards against adharmic exploitation. Victoria's balanced approach, supporting railways while improving factory laws, reflected moral innovation rooted in conscience. How do rituals and ceremonies like those Victoria valued shape national unity? Gurudev says collective rituals bind hearts, ceremonies, when done mindfully, build shared memory and pride. Victoria's coronation, jubilees, and royal weddings united the nation emotionally. Similarly, art of living events with Mass Sudarshan Kriya or Guru Pujas create waves of collective coherence. Rituals reconnect people with purpose. Yagyas, Upanayams, and Agnikaryams, public Agnikaryams in Vedic culture, played the same role, unifying society across caste and region. Queen Victoria's ceremonial sensitivity reflects a dharmic truth that rituals done in reverence uplift consciousness. Trikal Sandhya for the nation can build unity even today. Victoria's reign spanned cultures and religions. How do spiritual teachings prepare a leader to respectfully engage with diversity? Gurudev has visited over 180 countries, always honoring diversity while sharing universal values. Meditation opens the heart to multiple perspectives. Victoria's rapport with Indian servants and leaders shows cultural openness. Programs for diplomats and global CEOs include breathing and wisdom that dissolve bias. Love knows no borders. Vedas are not dogmatic, they celebrate diversity. Gayatri Japa elevates all minds, regardless of background. Agnikaram welcomes offerings from every land. Victoria's embrace of India's cultural contributions, like adopting Urdu words or patronizing Indian art, reflects this expansive dharmic leadership. As Victoria aged, her declining health affected leadership. How can spiritual practices enhance vitality? Gurudev always reminds us that breath is the link between body and mind. Practices like Shakti Kriya, Sudarshan Kriya, and Padma Sadhana restore energy and remove fatigue. Queen Victoria's later years were marked by physical strain, which could have been alleviated by breath based rejuvenation. Leaders who meditate stay youthful and resilient. In the Vedas, Brahmacharya is not just celibacy, it means vitality conservation. Sandhya Vandanam involves asanas, pranayama, and mantra, all of which sustain health. Victoria had she embraced these, might have found renewal. Even in her 60s, Vedic tools offer both inner stillness and outer strength. Victoria sometimes feared public opinion. How do spiritual practices shift this fear into connection? Gurudev says fear vanishes when love dawns. Through Sudarshan Kriya, fears rooted in ego and insecurity dissolved. Victoria's initial fear of crowds transformed into affection as she matured. Meditation reveals the people are not threats, they are part of you. Leadership becomes service when fear recedes. Recalls and the alliance one with cosmic rhythm. Removing psychological blocks, Gayatri Japa increases self trust and trust in humanity. The Vedas teach that people are your extended self or Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Victoria's later tours, where she waved openly to citizens, showed this spiritual breakthrough. How do spiritual tools help cultivate forgiveness as Victoria needed in family and politics? Gurudev teaches that forgiveness is freedom. The breath helps you drop past grievances. Sahat Samadhi and Sudarshan Kriya unlock deep reservoirs of compassion. When Victoria forgave disloyal ministers or reconciled with her son Bertie, it was her inner growth shining through. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's leadership from the heart. Vedic tradition insists on daily cleansing, not just physical but emotional. Agni Karyam symbolically burns resentment. Gayatri Japa purifies the mind, and Sanyam sadhana of level 1 and level 2. One experiences such vastness that petty hurt dissolves. Queen Victoria's healing arc with those who hurt her proves that forgiveness is a royal strength. How did motherhood shape Victoria's reign, and how do spiritual teachings support maternal strength? Gurudev honors the feminine as a source of creation and nurture. Motherhood awakens compassion, patience, and fierce protection. Meditation gives the mothers clarity and calm, essentials for balancing love and discipline. Victoria's rule softened with each child. Her maternal instincts influence policies. Motherhood, when supported by sadhana, becomes a superpower. Gayatri Devi is the universal mother, and Gayatri Japa links every woman to this cosmic energy. Vedic tradition holds mothers in the highest esteem. Samskaras performed at childbirth and Sanyam sadhana of level 1 and level 2 for women empower mothers with spiritual strength. Victoria embodied this divine duality, mother to her children and to an empire. Queen Victoria transformed personally and politically. How do spiritual practices ensure ongoing evolution in leadership? Gurudev says that growth stops when curiosity dies. Art of living programs constantly evolve the individual emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Victoria started as a passionate, impulsive girl and matured into a wise matriarch. Regular sadhana ensures leaders never stagnate, every breath becomes a renewal. The Vedas emphasize Nityanugutam. Everything is new each day. Sandhya Vandanam, Agni Karyam, and Trikal Sandhya ensure dynamic balance. Evolution is not optional, it is dharma. Queen Victoria's changes over decades reflect a life touched, perhaps unconsciously, but by this principle. With conscious practice, such evolution becomes effortless, Jai Gurudev.